All right, everybody, welcome back for another deep dive with us. Today, we are going to be tackling something a little bit different, a little bit unexpected, maybe.
Yeah, for sure.
We're going to be talking about marketing, but not
Marketing.
just any marketing.
No, no, no.
We're going to be looking specifically at how addiction rehabilitation centers market themselves online.
Interesting.
Yeah, and to do that, we're going to be drawing on some information from a company called MastermindSEO.
Okay.
And these guys, they really know the ins and outs of this particular niche.
Sounds like they do.
And it is an interesting niche.
Yeah, how so?
Well, I think when most people think about marketing, they think about, big companies selling, tennis shoes or, cars or something like that.
Right, right.
But the truth is that almost every business these days has to have some kind of online presence.
You've absolutely, yeah.
And they have to have some kind of strategy for reaching their target audience.
Totally. And when it comes to something sensitive as addiction recovery,
Right.
the stakes are even higher.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what makes this so fascinating to me, is that we're really going to peel back the layers here and see how businesses in this very specific, very sensitive area are using these online tools.
I think there are a lot of ethical questions that come up too, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We're gonna get into all of that, and I think it's gonna be really eye-opening.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. So let's jump right in. I think one of the things that MastermindSEO really emphasizes is that it's not as simple as just putting up a website and waiting for people to come to you.
Right. It seems like on the surface, you would just Google rehab centers near me and you would find what you're looking for, but it's a lot more complicated than that.
Way more complicated, yeah. And they actually have this great quote. They say, "Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth."
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, it's a boxing analogy.
Love it.
And it's basically saying that, online marketing could be a real battle,
A real fight, yeah.
and you need to be prepared.
You got to have a game plan.
You need a game plan, you need a strategy, and it's not just about, having a website. You need to be thinking about things like Facebook ads, social media strategies, search engine optimization,
SEO, Google Maps SEO.
all of that. Yeah, it's a whole arsenal of tools.
A whole tool belt you got to be wearing, yeah.
You do. And the thing is, you can't just, use the same approach for every business.
Right, you can't just copy and paste what worked for, selling shoes or something like that, right?
Exactly, yeah. And MastermindSEO actually talks about this specifically. They talk about the challenges of marketing rehab centers in Silicon Valley, for example.
Interesting.
Yeah, because you've got a very specific demographic that you've got a lot of 20 to 30-year-olds.
Right, right. The younger tech crowd.
Exactly. And they found that traditional Facebook ads, for example, just don't really work that well with that demographic.
Interesting.
Yeah, so you have to start thinking about, okay, well, where are these people spending their time online?
Right.
And how can we reach them there?
So it's not just about what platform you're using, but who you're trying to reach.
Exactly. And that's where things like Snapchat and Instagram and, all these other platforms come into play.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so it's all about tailoring your strategy to your specific target audience and to the specific geographic location.
Right, because different areas are going to have different demographics.
Exactly.
Different needs, different ways of using the internet even.
Totally, yeah. And so that kind of brings us to the question of, okay, so where does a company like MastermindSEO fit into all of this?
Yeah, what exactly do they do?
What do they do? Yeah. Well, they basically offer a whole suite of services that are specifically designed to help rehab centers navigate this complex digital world.
So like a one-stop shop for all their marketing needs.
Pretty much, yeah. They can act as an outsourced CMO,
What's a CM?
Chief Marketing Officer.
Gotcha.
So basically, they'll come in and they'll develop a whole marketing strategy for you.
Cool.
They can also handle things like lead generation.
Lead generation, what's that?
That's basically, getting people who are interested in your services to actually contact you.
So like finding potential clients.
Exactly, yeah. And then they also specialize in things like Google Maps SEO, which is, making sure that when somebody searches for rehab centers near me,
Right.
your center pops up at the top of the list.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so they really kind of cover all the bases.
Wow, that's impressive.
It is. It is. And they really emphasize the importance of having a flexible strategy.
Oh yeah, going back to the boxing analogy.
Yeah, exactly. They talk about, it's not just about throwing the first punch.
It's about being able to roll with the punches.
It is. Yeah, it's about being able to adapt and adjust your strategy as the fight goes on.
Right, because the digital world is always changing.
Always changing. Yeah, there are new platforms emerging all the time.
New trends.
New trends, algorithms are changing. User behavior is evolving.
Right, you got to stay on top of it.
You do. You do. And it seems like MastermindSEO really gets that because they've got, very specific services like lead generation for addiction centers and drug rehab SEO.
So really niche down, huh?
They are, yeah, they're really focused on this specific area.
It's smart.
Yeah, it is. So I think, what we can take away from all of this is that marketing for addiction rehabilitation centers is a lot more complex
Then it looks, yeah.
than it looks on the surface. Yeah, it's not just about having a website. It's about understanding your target audience,
Crafting a strategy.
crafting a strategy, being adaptable, being flexible.
Being ready for anything.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it also just kind of highlights the fact that there's a lot more happening behind the scenes of the information that we encounter online
Absolutely.
than we might realize.
What you see on your screen isn't just random chance.
Right.
There's a whole industry of people working behind the scenes to, shape that experience.
Yeah, to get your attention to guide you in a certain direction.
Exact.
Yeah, it's really eye-opening stuff, and I think it makes you, start to question.
Question everything you see online.
Yeah, well, maybe not everything, but at least start to think about, where is this coming from?
What's the motivation behind this?
What's the motivation? Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, it makes you a more discerning consumer of information.
Absolutely, and I think that's really valuable in today's world.
Couldn't agree more.
Well, all right, everybody, that's going to do it for our deep dive today.
Had a great time.
Yeah, me too. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.
See ya. TOJF.